Greetings and salutations. So we're back in Empyrion once again, and I just wanted to show a couple little things. So in one of my last playthroughs, there was one of the new Creel models that were introduced. It was technically under the Zerax faction, so it had the little ZRX quotations in red. And I'm enemy with the Zerax, or I have a negative faction. I think it's this one. I'm still negative, even though it's kind of gradually been percolating off, cooking off. It used to be maxed out, but you can see, I mean, it just wrecked all my stuff, and I hauled it all back to one of my earlier bases because I've kind of been cascading bases. I got this modular setup that I do, and you can see where this thing is just completely wrecked, completely wrecked. I mean, just chewed up my mule, and I was tempted just to salvage it. I was like, meh, whatever. But I was able to use my big mining platform that I built kind of as a test bed to see how I wanted to. It's over there in the corner over there. It's the prospector mining vessel, and it's like basically it's like a galactic large mining barge that you jump from sector to sector to mine it out. But the you can just see my mule just got wrecked. So I kind of wanted to showcase how the Jeff Randall's space base. This has been heavily modified over, and I have all these in my workshop. I have all these creations in my workshop, but the and this is segued so far from his original creation that it's quite a bit different. But on these things, I like to run the four constructors in here, and on the original design, he has two deconstructors, but I found out on multiplayer servers that deconstructor is almost inept. Like there's almost no need for it whatsoever because you can't core stuff and get solid items back, so you really kind of don't need it. You just end up with parts anyways. And I only need the one furnace. And so I've just turned this into I've just packed this corner full of generators and just use that as a teleport station. And then everywhere else, I've put as much fuel and oxygen as this thing is possible. And then I started out with just the scaffolding in here because the grow plots are just such a pain in the butt to refine up to make because there's a few different processes. First, you have to use your processor to make a bunch of seeds and make a bunch of what is it nitroglycerin and all kinds of manufacturing steps before you can get to the grow plots and just the actual base is super easy to make, so I just throw the scaffolding in there to get it out quicker. But what I wanted to showcase is even though the base is super modular, and in the original design, Jeff stuck the repair bay in the floor, and it just wasn't a practical use. I don't use it there because uh, what I've kind of come to realize is it needs to be on top. So I stuck it here in the top. See the little green with the crosshairs right there. Little that's it's I stuck it into the top and was able to maintain most of, but it's right there. It's right there. So that's pretty seamless. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty seamless. It's just like a rib basically, and it's not perfectly seamed because of the grow plots up there. It's not perfectly seamed, and I didn't want to spend a bunch of time because what I'm realizing is through my playthroughs, I'm kind of getting an idea of what I need through my manufacturing process, and because these are solar bases, they kind of have a little bit of sub requirement based off the power output. And if I go to statistics and I click on solar here, this galaxy that I'm in is the 8.45, and that's enough. And I got extra the solar batteries in here, but that's that 8.45 kpu. So pu is sub 1,000, right? So pu would be like 100, and then the kpu gives it, so that's like saying 8,045. So basically it's enough. So I've been in galaxies where I've thrown this base down and it's got like 5 kpu or 4 kpu, and as soon as I run that furnace and these four generators at the same time, it doesn't sustain. So anything over 8, this base can sustain in its current configuration. And I've seen some galaxies put out as much as 15 kPu because of their proximity to the sun and the type. But anyways, I just wanted to show how wrecked this thing was, and how in its current configuration. And let me get in here and just kind of do. You can see where, I mean, it's intact, like still flies, but it's just completely get turned around here. I'm super turned around, and there's holes all through it. Come on, come on. There we go. Here we go. And so you can see it's, all my switches are blown off. All the doors are blown off. Uh, looks like they got the generator, or no, the shield. You know, you can see all the distortion and everything. The back door, you know, and they've blown off this section and all that stuff in there. The warp fuel section, and just a lot of damage. But so I'm going to show this thing in action with the construction bay moved to the top. And yeah, but since then they fixed the krill drone. So now my auto turrets will attack it. Before they wouldn't attack it. So that thing would just fly around and shoot that laser that did AoE damage and just completely wreck. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn these off. Make sure that's turned off. So when I run this thing, because it says it's gonna take 45 minutes to repair this thing. Repair block, right? 96%. So needs 240. That's not too bad. Okay, needs. So I've preloaded all of this stuff in here, and then I'm gonna say start repair, right? And the beauty is you can see, because the way I've stuck it on top there, I basically have to kind of cock this thing as a wedge and just point. As long as one point touches that corner frame, it'll work. And so, because before I would try to land them in perfect, and because of the gun turrets, they would be in the way. So I've kind of figured out that I can repair anything as long as I face it, the driver's seat, face the driver's seat straight forward at it. And so even the big, that's a class 9 or a class 8 prospector is huge. I mean, it's almost as big as you can have in the game. And I just park it the same way. So with this current configuration, I can pretty much repair any size ship in the game on a public server, because the public servers only allow up to class 10 ships to be spawned in. Of course, you can do bigger, but then you have to build them, and that becomes a massive endeavor, because you lose all your creative tools or creation tools. So I wouldn't recommend that. I recommend, figure them out first in creative mode and get all your geometry worked out. Use your cut and paste tools, and then build the economy of scale type of thing. But yeah, I said it's going to take 45 minutes to repair that thing. Surprisingly, the mats were as not expensive as I thought it was. It seems like there's a little reduction in cost for the overall recovery cost compared to the initial build cost, but which is good. One of the things I do wish they would do, though, is and you can see where my power draw, if I go P right here, you can see where my power draw, go back to statistics. Oh, see, look, I am running a little bit of a negative. So it is tapping out a little bit, so that the power draw exceeds my 8 points. So time left 245. Where did I go? So the issue, I think, is if I go back here, so this is where I'm going to run into the issue where it's going to start pulling from here, manage, right? But I got 34,000. So we'll see how much it taps into the 34,000. I might need to add some more solar capacitors in here. I got to figure out where I want to stick them. So I think I got two right there, but I've completely filled this thing up, and I've even packed I got a little bit of room right here. Yeah, I might stick 2 more solar capacitors in there, but everything else is pretty much filled up. Let's see here. On my solar plants, on my solar, I'm gonna, yeah, on my solar plants, let me do this. I got a link. I'm gonna link. This is not what this video is about, but I'm gonna link. But this is kind of do everything, kind of a do everything type of base, so you can run. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna pull all these out, and I'm gonna put carbon sub plant fibers, because I'm finding that I need a lot of plant fibers for the maintenance portion, or ammunition. So plant fibers are really actually kind of hard to get in space, and so the solar farm that I over here takes care of all the food production over here. And so, but I'm gonna salvage this. I'm gonna salvage this. And one of the things I talked about this in an earlier video, which I wish they would add, is a I need to break all this down, but I wish they would add, if I hit P on here, I wish they would add a button somewhere in here, maybe another tab, right? Um, or maybe statistics. I don't know. I wish statistics, maybe they somewhere in one of these empty boxes they had a salvage, and it would salvage your entire base. I don't care if it gives you a 20% reduction, material reduction. Like you didn't get a 1-for-1, maybe you got a 0.8 recovery. Um, and if you wanted a 1-for-1, you just go in there and manually salvage, and then whatever you had left over, it would just give you a percentage. Because I don't care about that. But I just want to get rid of it, is what I want. Kind of the more important thing. So if I end up losing 20% of my materials, that's okay. I mean, that's fine. Then I'd pull off the major components, like the guns and all the expensive stuff, and then just salvage the rest. And as long as I cored it and I created it, so if I hit P, as long as my name, as long as I spawned it in, I could salvage it. Okay, so um, because I have new ones that I've built. So this one initially I took this thing and gutted it out, and since then I've re-engineered and rebuilt these things, um, and kind of have an entirely new setup, and added beautiful bay windows here, and reworked all the power, and reworked all the windows and all the scaffolding, and just did a ground up build based off of what I've learned from this, because that's what I like to do. Is I like to spawn in other people's creations, use them for a while, and then go into creative mode and build it from scratch, learning the hard lessons from putting 20 or 30 hours into something that I've downloaded from the workshop, and then being like, okay, I see what works and what doesn't work based off my playstyle. So let's go back here and see where we're at on this. And let's see here. Okay. We are at. But yeah, I've definitely figured out that the repair bay needs to be in the ceiling and not. See, that's brutal. That's brutal. It's saying remaining time 40 minutes. That's just so much power. Okay. Well, the good thing is I'm not at here yet. Let me see. I think it said that I had remaining time 240, power left 240. So it's still cooking down. Wow. So I have two of them, because each one of those is worth 1,500. I definitely need to figure out where to stick two more of those. See, what I did is I kind of cheesed this, and I tore down all the angle pieces in order to stick two more of those, all those oxygen tanks. I like to run these little bases with as much oxygen and fuel as possible. And even when I go up in here, I think I maxed this out too. And what I've realized is if you play, oh, I could stick 2 right here. I could stick 2 right there. And I think this is maybe one right here. I could cheese this. But I could definitely stick 2 upright. Yeah, I could definitely stick at least 1 upright. Or even, you know what? I can get rid of these right here. I can pull those 2 out and stick 1 right in the middle there. Yeah, or even 1 there, and then yeah, I could put a couple across there and make them to where they look like they're tied into the plumbing, and just get a little bit more storage out of the deal. Let's see what this says. But that's what, it's kind of what you learn though along the way. You kind of learn what works and what doesn't work. And I don't know why it's saying I got 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Let me see how much fuel I got in this thing. Let's see what the fuel consumption is. Fuel is manage. Fuel is 34,000. Total number of tanks 9. It's a pretty decent. See, I don't know what happens if I stop this, right? If I hit P and remaining time 37 minutes. Total repair time 47 minutes. So if I stop this, do I lose this remaining time? That's the thing I don't fully understand. I should test it out, but if it recalculates the total time, let's say if I hit stop repair, let's see what happens. So if I hit stop repair, so 36 minutes. Let's see if it updates this 47 minutes. So stop repair. Okay. So it was that 36 minutes before. Okay, grow plots. Let's go standby, right? Repair template. Let's see. Ooh. It wants to it doesn't that 10 minutes that I let it run, it didn't let me see. Start repair. Yeah, it started over. It didn't give me credit for the 10 minutes that it ran. Good to know. Good to know. Good to know. Interesting. Okay. Last saved 857 hours ago. Interesting. Okay, the little lesson learned. There's a lot of information in this video. Wow. Okay. Interesting. I would have thought it would have gave me credit. Like it would have built those blocks accordingly, like gradually started to fill the stuff in. And so that way if I needed to stop or refuel or whatever, right? I could do that. And see, now it's tapping in. It's tapping into this. Let's see here. Device. And I got plenty of fuel save statistics, right? Fuel power left 2 minutes and 34 seconds. It's not accurate. You can just see it cooking off now. Oh, 2 hours. 2 hours and 36 minutes. 2 hours and 35 minutes at this current load. So it's probably going to burn through half of my power, which is fine. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here. I might do another recording towards the end and just add it to the back, or maybe do a part 2. But yeah, thanks for watching.